Imagine this. A body is discovered on a quiet Australian beach in 1948, lying lifeless with no form of identification, no visible signs of violence, and wearing clothes stripped of any labels. Who was this man, and why would someone go to such lengths to erase his identity? Dubbed the Somerton Man, this unknown figure left behind a trail of bizarre clues that continue to baffle experts even decades later. Among his possessions was a tiny piece of paper bearing the phrase Tamam Shud, a Persian term meaning ended or finished. From mysterious codes to unanswered questions, this case has fascinated and puzzled everyone who encounters it. In this video, we'll dive deep into the clues, the theories, and the latest discoveries, all in search of answers to this enduring enigma. Ready to uncover the mystery of the Somerton Man? Our story begins in post-war Australia, a time when the world was adjusting to a new reality marked by political tension and espionage. On December 1, 1948, an unknown man was found dead on Somerton Beach, Adelaide. The man was well-dressed in a suit and tie, yet something strange stood out. There were no labels on his clothes, as if he had deliberately removed anything that could identify him. Authorities were puzzled from the start. He had no ID and no personal belongings other than a few odd items, including a cigarette case and an unused train ticket. Initial examinations revealed no signs of trauma or struggle. This only added to the mystery, as doctors were unable to determine a cause of death. Some speculated poison, but no traces of toxins were found. Weeks later, an even stranger clue surfaced. A tiny, carefully torn scrap of paper hidden in a fob pocket on the man's trousers. It bore the Persian phrase Tamam Shud, which translates to ended or finished. This cryptic message led investigators to a rare edition of the Rubaiyat by Omar Khayyam, an ancient book of Persian poetry. Inside the book, they discovered a mysterious code, a sequence of letters that has stumped cryptologists for decades. The unknown man, who became known as the Somerton Man, had created one of the most intriguing unsolved mysteries in history. From the onset, this case seemed woven with threads of secrecy, almost as if it were designed to remain unsolved. But was it? Could clues hidden in his few possessions reveal more than initially thought? The more authorities examined the case, the stranger it became. Beyond the absence of labels and personal identification, forensic investigators found unusual aspects in the Somerton Man's physical condition. His shoes, for example, looked practically new, with no scuffs or signs of wear, as if he hadn't walked around the city at all. A curious detail considering he had been discovered on a beach. Even more unsettling was the Tamam Shud note. Investigators traced it to a rare edition of the Rubaiyat, a book that had surfaced nearby with a torn-out final page. On the back cover of this book was a series of random letters, an apparent code that has since become one of the most scrutinized puzzles in criminal history. Experts believe it could contain a personal message or hidden details about the man's identity or purpose. In addition to the cryptic note, other aspects of his belongings were equally puzzling. The cigarette packet he carried had 2 brands of cigarettes inside, which some saw as unusual behavior. Others speculated it might have been a tactic to avoid suspicion or a subtle attempt at misdirection. Efforts to identify him soon spread beyond Australia. Photos and details were sent across borders in hopes of finding someone who might recognize the Somerton Man. Yet no one came forward, no missing persons matched, and no identification documents surfaced. People speculated on everything from amnesia to foul play, but nothing added up. Even the autopsy results defied logic. Doctors found an enlarged spleen and signs that he may have been poisoned, yet no trace of any known toxin could be confirmed. The authorities seemed to reach a dead end, yet the questions continued piling up. What could drive a man to such lengths to remain anonymous, or was someone else trying to cover his tracks? Over the years, numerous theories have emerged, each attempting to explain the enigma of the Somerton Man. One of the earliest and most compelling theories revolves around espionage. The timing aligns with the beginnings of the Cold War, an era rife with undercover operations. The coded note, lack of identification, and unusual behavior suggested to many that he was a spy, potentially from the Soviet Union, or involved in secret intelligence activities. Supporters of this theory argue that the cryptic code found in the Rubaiyat might have been a set of instructions or classified information, perhaps even a message meant for someone else. Another popular theory is that the Somerton Man was a romantic figure caught in a web of unrequited love or betrayal. Some have speculated that he may have taken his own life after a broken relationship, symbolized by the Tamam Shud note, a literal end to a personal chapter. There were whispers of a mysterious nurse connected to the case. Her phone number was allegedly found in the Rubaiyat, and she later admitted to owning a copy of the book but claimed she did not know the man. Yet another hypothesis involves organized crime, as some suggest the Somerton Man may have been part of an illegal operation. This could explain why he took such measures to disguise his identity, leaving few clues behind and concealing any personal details. The mixed cigarettes could even suggest a need to avoid leaving fingerprints. Then, there are those who believe the Somerton Man may have been an ordinary man who met an unfortunate fate. Perhaps he suffered from amnesia and simply wandered to the beach, leaving behind the strange trail of clues unintentionally. Yet, this theory falls short of explaining the cryptic code and lack of identity markers. Each theory brings us closer to possible explanations, yet none provide definitive answers. The more we uncover, the more the case seems to resist closure, leaving us questioning whether we'll ever know the truth behind it. The Somerton Man's tragic end. In recent years, technology has revived interest in the Somerton Man case, offering tools for analysis that didn't exist in 1948. One of the most significant breakthroughs has come through DNA analysis, with researchers extracting DNA from his remains. These genetic studies have aimed to identify living relatives who might provide clues about his identity. So far, potential distant relatives have been located, which has narrowed down his likely nationality and background, although a clear identity has yet to emerge. Another modern contribution comes from online communities dedicated to solving cold cases. Platforms where amateur sleuths and professional cryptologists can exchange ideas have shed new light on old clues. Techniques in forensic linguistics have also been applied to decode the Tamam Shud note and understand its possible meanings. These recent developments reveal the continuing fascination with this case and underscore how, even decades later, the Somerton Man is a mystery that people are still determined to solve. The Somerton Man mystery has transcended its roots as a simple criminal case, embedding itself in popular culture and inspiring countless works of fiction, documentaries, and even conspiracy theories. His story has captivated audiences worldwide, symbolizing the allure of the unknown and the human desire to solve what seems unsolvable. This case has raised questions about identity, secrecy, and the lengths people or governments may go to in concealing the truth. This mystery has endured not just because of its strangeness, but because it speaks to a fundamental curiosity within us. The Somerton Man represents the part of history we may never fully understand, a reminder that some stories end without clear answers. And perhaps that is why this case remains so compelling, because it forces us to confront the possibility that some mysteries are meant to remain unsolved. As we conclude, we're left with the same haunting questions that have lingered for decades. Who was the Somerton Man really? Was he a spy, a lover, a fugitive, or just an ordinary person in extraordinary circumstances? Perhaps we may never truly know, but the mystery keeps the story alive, inviting each of us to form our own theories and join the quest for truth. Thank you for exploring this fascinating case with us. If you have your own thoughts or theories, we'd love to hear them in the comments. After all, the answer may lie within a perspective we haven't yet considered. If this mystery intrigued you, we invite you to share your thoughts. What's your theory about the Somerton Man? Was he a spy, a man of romance, or simply an ordinary person caught in unusual circumstances? Leave your ideas in the comments. We'd love to hear every perspective. And if you enjoyed this journey into one of history's most fascinating unsolved cases, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more deep dives into the world's most captivating mysteries. Your support helps us keep exploring stories that spark curiosity and keep the search for answers alive.